Es el fuego que yo conozco. Es el fuego que yo.
What is up, guys? Edgar here, lifestylesdefined.com. Welcome back to another LD photo episode. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on Affinity Photo. I'm actually using the beta, but I'm going to do a tutorial on a photo shoot that I did, or actually I'm going to edit a photo from that photo shoot, and this is actually my first attempt at Toddle Photography. This is my niece's first birthday, and I have a picture in front of you guys that I'm going to be editing. I am used to editing portraits for adults, like senior photos or couples, families, and things like that, but I've never really put a lot of focus into toddler photography. It's not really something that I imagine I would ever get into, but after this photo shoot, it may be something that I may do as a professional as well, just to add to the repertoire that I already have. So let's go ahead and do the edit here. This is kind of alien to me. I don't do much when it comes to toddlers, but we're going to do it live right here for you guys. So let's get started. So the first thing I'll do, as you notice here, I am in the photo persona, which is this guy right here, or I'm sorry, the develop persona, which is this little guy right here. So anytime you open a photo, it is going to open here in the develop persona. Then when you're ready to do some of the other stuff, you'll move over to the photo persona, which is this one here. But anytime you open a raw, it's going to open here. So what we're going to do first, most of this is already pretty well exposed, so I don't have to do much. Your skin tones look pretty good. The only thing is, you'll notice that the focus is mainly here, but we're gonna sharpen it up a little bit to make sure that we get more focus in the eyes. So let's go ahead and sharpen it up just a little bit right here, just to make it a little bit better, not too much. See what it does to your skin. That's what you got to be careful when you do human skin. So anyway, I'm just gonna sharpen it up a little bit there. Maybe 10 would be the sweet spot. And then I'm gonna move over right away into the photo persona here. And the first thing I like to do when I go into the photo persona is to duplicate my layer so that I work on a separate layer besides the original. So Control J will duplicate your layer here. So now I have a new canvas to work on, and now we're gonna get to work. So the first thing I'll do for this photo here is go into filters and then go into frequency separation. By default, frequency separation is at 2 pixels. Usually that works out pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And it's gonna get it ready for me. As you notice here, now you have a high frequency, low frequency layer. So let's go ahead and work on the low frequency layer by itself. We'll highlight that, go over to my healing brush. We're gonna move over to hardness, make sure this is at 0%, the flow will be at 100%, and the opacity will be at 100%. So now we can go ahead and zoom right in, and we're gonna get to work on the skin. So make my brush a little bigger here, and now you're going to alt click to select a specific spot, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna blend the colors in by doing this here. So we're gonna do this for a little while until we get her skin nice and smooth. And yes, it's gonna look a little unnatural at first because, well, we are just simply blending the colors and not working on the detail portion of the image here. So it is going to look a little unnatural here, but trust me, when we're done, you'll see the difference here. Go in here, make my brush a little smaller. I have a smaller workspace. You want to make your brush a little smaller, and just painting away. I click Alt and then click and then I brush, because you want to make sure that the skin tones match certain areas. So for instance, if you have shadows, Alt there and then start painting, and then don't go over here and paint with that shadow because it's just gonna make your skin darker. So you really got to be careful how you select the skin that you want to paint over, or the skin you want to blend the color with. So we'll move on right here to the fine small hairs. I'm not gonna go too crazy now. Alright, we're gonna go right here and continue on. In fact, I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger here. I'm gonna hurry just for the purpose of the video. I don't want it to be too crazy long, but I do want to show you guys enough that you'll kind of follow along when you have your own image. I'll click, gotta go here. And for this, I'm not using a mouse and keyboard anymore. I'm actually using the XP Pen Star 05 is what I'm using. And I really like this device so far. I'm already pretty used to using the pen as opposed to the mouse. And I can definitely tell the difference when it comes to accuracy. I really like it so far. And especially for this type of work here with the frequency separation where you have to brush, it does come handy a lot. So we're going to go around the eye here. Now you don't want to go too close to the eye because then it eliminates too many of the features there. I'm going here. A little bit of the redness there we're going to get rid of. Bring this down a little bit. A small area, so you want to definitely use a small brush here. And not too much redness here, so I won't have to do much. But you do want to touch up most of the skin because it will look unnatural when you blend in both the high frequency layer and the low frequency layer. So we're going to go up here. There's a little bit of redness here, so we're going to kind of get in there and work that out. Now we're going to start blending from the other side. She's got a little scratch right here that I really got to work on. There we go. We got to blend that in nicely. It's almost like applying makeup, even though I don't really do any type of makeup, but that's what I can describe it as. Alright, so as far as her face here, I think we're pretty done. Now again, it's gonna look a little weird at first until you add the high frequency layer. And I forgot to do this little section here. Alright, so we are going to move on to the little chest area here. And I'm gonna make my brush a little bigger. And we're gonna start here. Alright. And we're doing that. And then we're gonna move on over here to this side. Alright. It's taking a little bit to catch up. And again, I'm using the Affinity Photo Beta, so you may see a little bit of lag on some of these brush strokes. So just keep that in mind that I am using the beta. I should have used the actual release, but this beta is actually not that bad. Alright, so we're gonna work on the arms here now. Move on a little bit here. And we're gonna move down a little further. Alright, here we go. Work on this side now. Alright, so we got that one done. Now we're gonna move on to this side. Again, you gotta be careful when you hit those shadows because you end up with dark spots, and that's where frequency separation gets a little hard when it comes to these little shadow areas that you really have to be careful with. Again, right here, the color changes slightly, so move over to this side and then try to match that color blend right there. Alright, so let's just say we're happy with what we have now. Now we're going to actually lower this to 80% is what I like to do because we don't want to have too much of a smooth skin. I want it to look natural, and so I move that down to 80%. It's got to be 80 because I'm picky. 80%. Now we move on to the high frequency layer and select it, and once selected, now you can do cloning. And what I'm going to do is clone out this little scratch on her nose there. So I'm going to bring this down slightly, Alt select, and then we're just gonna brush And usually what I forgot to do is you want this at 100% so that it textures the skin as well. So there we have that. Kind of even that out there. And for the most part, everything else is pretty good. I know she's got a little hair there, but I don't think I want to remove it. I think I'm going to leave it. You could remove it, and I'll show you real quick. If you wanted to remove it, you actually can. And it's not going to come off completely, but you can do it. But I'm just going to leave it on. I think it's just part of being a toddler. Your hair is going to be in your face sometimes, and I want to keep that way. So now that I'm happy with the high frequency and low frequency layers, I'm going to shift and then click on both of these to highlight them both. So let's do that. And then we're going to move over to the layer and go all the way down here to merge visible. And what it's going to do, it's going to now create a whole new pixel layer for me to work with. So I can go ahead and unselect this guy, the high frequency layer and the low frequency layer, and now I have a new canvas to work with. So now it's just her. And just to kind of show you the difference right now, if I unclick here, this is the original and this is what I'm working with now. So as you can see, her skin, even though she has a little bit of redness on her skin here, now we've cleaned that up, and you can see that it's actually made quite a big difference there, and that's without doing any type of color correction or anything like that. So now that's what we're going to move on to. We have to now color correct. So what are we going to do first? The first thing I like to do is do a curves adjustment. So we're going to find curves. Here we go. And as you notice, here's my histogram here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the mid tones, come down and bring down around the shadow area, maybe make the highlights a little bit brighter here. And I do like her skin, the way it looks there. Already with the A7 II, the skin tones look pretty good to me. I can definitely tell the difference between that and my Sony A6000. But like I said, her skin looks really good already. And I kind of like how this looks. So what I'm going to do next now is moving to her eyes. Her eyes are actually brown. They're not light brown, but you can definitely tell they are brown. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring those out a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is go in here and select a layer, so add pixel layer. And now we're going to move on to edit and hit the fill. And what I'm going to do is actually going to dodge her eyes. So I'm going to use the dodge and burn brush. Go in here, click on the color, make sure it's under grayness, and I always drop it to 50%, and then hit apply. Now once you hit apply, what you want to do is go here and go down to overlay. And once you overlay, now we can do dodge and burn without necessarily affecting the actual layer that I'm working on. This is a whole different pixel layer, so if I don't like it, I can change it, I can delete it, and it's just a way to do it non-destructively. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we're going to move into the dodge and burn tool here. I'm going to select the dodge, and let's see what we have here. Move in here, and I know, like I said, it's out of focus here, but we're gonna make it work. Actually, I'm just gonna move this down here into the background here, and see if it'll make a difference. And it seems like it's not making too much of a difference, so we're gonna increase the hardness here a little bit and see if we can increase that slightly. Moving a little closer. And that's looking a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend these together real quick, or merge them, I'm sorry. I'm going to merge both of those, and let's see if it'll work. Okay, now that I have a new pixel there, now I'm going to go again, and I'm going to go into burn or dodge one more time. And now we're going to go in here. I don't want it too hard. I'm going to go in here, maybe drop it down to 0, and then really paint away. The white, if you do the white here, it will bring out the eyes quite a bit, and that's what I like to do sometimes when it comes to the eyes, is brighten up the white or highlight areas, and it'll make the eyes pop a lot more. You don't want to overdo it because it will look unnatural, but it does actually help to bring the eyes out, and I'll show you guys here in a second how that works. And as you can tell there, just by doing that, I mean, it's a big difference. Look at the original and now what we have so far, and to me it's already looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is add a little more sharpness here, or clarity. So I'm going to do a clarity filter, but not too much. I think 7 pixels looks pretty good. And once I have that, I'm going to kind of close in and see what my noise looks like. It's a little noisy, but that's alright because we can take that off here in a little while. What I'm going to do now is go into my curves adjustment one more time, and this is where I kind of give it a kind of a cinematic look. So we're gonna up the shadows here, bring down the midtones, but increase, or bring up the midtones, I'm sorry. There we go, just like that. And now we're gonna bring that down into my layer that I'm working on, and I'm going to do a little color balancing here. So mainly working on the midtones, bring up the reds. That's too blue, so we don't want that. And I'm gonna go into the highlights here. I don't want too much red now. I think it looks pretty good there. So we're gonna leave that alone. And then sometimes a little white balancing does the job. So if you just make it a little bit warmer, maybe about 6%, I would say 5%. See how it makes it slightly warmer? I just like my images to be a little warmer. I think that does do the trick right there. And now we can definitely see the difference. So let's go ahead and show you guys the difference between the original and what we have now. So here we go on select. That is the original image, and this is the finished product. The only thing that I have left now is to denoise, and I think maybe 15% would be pretty good because we don't want to eliminate too much of the texture. But again, this is a photo that probably would have been overlooked, but we managed to save it just by adding a little bit of clarity, a little bit of retouching as far as the skin goes with frequency separation, and then a little color correction here and there. But there you have it. This is my real first attempt at editing Toddle Photography for professional purposes. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want more videos like this one where I kind of walk you through my process for editing, please let me know. Like, subscribe, and as always, thank you guys for stopping by. My name is Edgar, signing off. Peace.